Say you want to make a change in your life and you're struggling with it and you're feeling lazy, you're feeling like a fuck up, you're feeling undisciplined, all the advice you're hearing online is just be disciplined. People around you might be judging you, saying you're weak, just get off your ass and do the thing. Let's talk about why you're struggling. It could be something you're trying to take out of your life or something you're trying to add to your life. If it's something you're trying to add, maybe you want to add an exercise routine, maybe you want to eat vegetables, maybe you want to start meditating, that kind of thing. Something you want to take away, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's overspending, maybe it's social media usage, that kind of thing. I'm going to pick quitting alcohol because it's a particularly emotionally charged topic, and I think it's something that we can all understand. We can all understand why it would be difficult to quit, and there's a lot of judgment around people who struggle with quitting alcohol, so I think it's worth talking about. But so let's say you're trying to quit alcohol, and on paper it's pretty clear why you should do it. You look at it and say, okay, here are all the bad things about drinking, and then here are all the good things about quitting alcohol, right? It seems very clear. People around you say, yeah, it's a no-brainer. You should quit because of this, this, and this. Maybe, your work is struggling. Maybe your relationships are struggling. Maybe you're at risk of losing your license. Maybe your health is at risk. There could be so many different negative things about, that are happening. So it's clear that you should quit, or like in your mind, you should quit. And then on the plus side, when you do quit, these are all the things that won't be a struggle for you anymore. These are all the things that could potentially improve. So it seems pretty clear on paper, quitting alcohol will be a net positive. And so when you have a struggle with quitting, when you're struggling with that, when people around you are like, hey, why don't you quit? This is bad for you. It's fucking up our relationship. It's, it's affecting your work, et cetera, et cetera. Why don't you just quit? It's a no-brainer, right? The problem is that we're just looking at those two things, the bad things about drinking and the good things about quitting. We're not looking at the rest of it. We're not looking at the reasons why we continue with this behavior that's problematic for us. The big picture is that change is difficult, and it's difficult for a reason. If there were nothing, if it was as simple as these are the bad things about continuing this behavior and these are the good things about changing it, we wouldn't have a problem with making change. We wouldn't have a problem with adding positive things to our lives either, sticking with a new exercise routine, eating vegetables at dinner. We wouldn't struggle with that if there weren't more to the story. So here's what it is. When you write on that piece of paper, here are the bad things about my current behavior, here are the good things about changing that behavior. What you're not looking at is what are the good things about continuing the behavior? What are the good things about drinking? What are the benefits? Because there are benefits, otherwise you wouldn't do it. We don't develop dependencies for no reason. We don't do things that are just like entirely negative, where there's no benefit, there's no gain, there's nothing positive, there's nothing in it for us. We don't do those things. We don't continue those behaviors. We may try it once and go, oh, well, this sucks. There's nothing good about this. Why would I continue to do it? You get something out of it. That's why you engage in this behavior. And on the other side, quitting would mean a loss. It means you're giving something up. So maybe, alcohol is the only way that you can manage stress. It's the only way that you can feel relaxed after a hard day at work. Maybe some days alcohol feels like your only friend, on and on and on. And when you contemplate quitting, you think, well, it's so simple. Here are all the bad things about drinking. It should be a no-brainer, but you're not thinking about all the benefits it provides to you, the role that it plays in your life, and that you will have to give those things up. And when we do, if we don't consider all the good things about that behavior that we're trying to change, if we don't consider all the benefits that it provides for us, all the needs that it fills, we won't have anything else in place to fill those needs. There's going to be a void. So you quit alcohol, but now you have no way to relax. Now you have no way to manage your stress. Now you have nothing that comforts you and makes you feel like you have a friend, and there's a void there. You need then to say, okay, well, what are, like, before, actually quitting, then if you don't want to rebound, think about how you can build up those things, how you can satisfy those needs in other ways, rather than just, swapping to a different drug, another dependency. You need a way to relax. You need a way to manage stress. You need to be able to have fun and kick back. You need those things. You need to feel connected. You need to feel like you have friends. What are some things you can do to satisfy those needs so that alcohol isn't so important anymore, so it's easier to quit, right? Because then when you give it up, you're going to have that void there. You're going to be missing all of those things. So every behavior change, it's difficult because we have to give things up. It's not just about, like, it may be a net positive for sure, but in the process, we're giving things up. And if we don't have other things that can satisfy those needs, it can be incredibly difficult. You want to start exercising every day. Net positive, absolutely. Really good for your mental health, really good for your physical health, on and on and on. But you have to give things up. Maybe you have to give up your evenings watching your favorite TV show so you can go to the gym. Maybe you have to get up early. There's so many different things that it can affect in your life. You have to give things up to make a change, even if it's a net positive at the end of it. So if you're struggling with making a change, cut yourself some slack. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not a fuck up. It's not a lack of discipline. And all those people online are saying, just be disciplined. They can suck a bag of dicks because they're not looking at the whole picture. And those people who tell you you're weak, you're a fuck up, you're lazy, just do the thing, just quit. It's easy. I did it. It was so easy. They would make terrible coaches. That is terrible coaching. They're not understanding how behavior change happens. They're not understanding what's going on for you. They're not understanding that change is difficult for a reason. It's difficult because, yes, you're gaining some things, but you have to give something up to make a change. And this isn't like some, way like you look at this framework and say, okay, well, there's things I have to give up, and now immediately it's super easy to quit. It's not necessarily going to happen, but it's going to help you let go of self-judgment when you struggle and maybe see that those times that maybe you quit and then go back to it, quit, go back to it. That's not a failure. Just maybe you didn't have other things in place to satisfy those needs that you have. You didn't have anything to fill that void. So it can help you see the big picture and cut yourself some slack. You're not weak. You're not a fuck up. Change is difficult. It's super difficult, and it's difficult because we have to give something up. No matter what it is, we have to give something up. So thank you for listening, and I hope this helps.